This is Control with the little brackets around it by Leilina. I thought of you and I heard the music. I was like, yeah, there's Chief, right, trying to get control of this freaking system.
Yeah, it never, it just never stopped. And going from trying to fix equipment to trying to fix crews, it just was, yeah, it was a mess, but it was a good time.
Yeah, well, I'm here, everybody, with Chief Warrant Officer retired Tracy Harris. He was a teammate of mine way back when I was in my first Patriot unit, and I looked up to him to tell me what right looked like because I didn't know. And there's a lot of clout given. At least I gave clout to warrant officers. Warrant officers were folks that were proven NCOs. They had done the job as necessary and got selected because of their special expertise and skills to go on and become a tactical, in some cases, and in all cases, a technical expert about, that missile system and the radar and all the things that we had. And I'm here tonight with Chief Tracy Harris. Thanks for hanging out with me, sir. I really appreciate it. I'm going to take an opportunity, if you don't mind, and show you a couple of things, not just for you, sir, but just for kind of everybody, so that we just kind of talk about it a little bit. Here is, hey, look, Diane Hawkins liked the stream. Thank you. That's one of the things that we're doing is I have added a few things for interaction. So, look, me and Joe Benson here kind of have put this together. And it really all started when Sergeant Maggot got sick. Maggot was Maggot one of your first sergeants? He might have been.
He was.
Yeah.
I came back. I came back from Korea in 2004, and when I went over to Bravo 552. Yeah, it was First Sergeant Maggot and Captain. Now, I think she's a Lieutenant Colonel promotable Jordan.
Oh wow!
So, I've known her. Well, whatever the math works out to be, 18 years or so.
Oh yeah. So Maggot got sick, and he was an old jump master buddy of mine, and he could remember, a long time ago, but he couldn't remember yesterday. And so I got him on the phone and we recorded it. We called it Heroes I Know. And I thought, I've got to be able to start collecting these stories. And so we did about 10 of them. And it just kind of fell to the wayside. And then in January of 2021, Sergeant Mason got sick. And he was a soldier of mine in 552. With you and I probably, and he got throat cancer, and he wasn't able to talk. He wasn't able to. I couldn't even interview him, and that got me back to wanting to do this again. And so Joe, Joe designed the coin, and let me show you this coin and coin and a thumb drive and a box. Wow. The box is made in Ukraine, actually, believe it or not. We got the guy Mikhail might even be watching. He friended us last night, but he's got us another 100 boxes coming. But the idea is to get our stories told before we get too old or too sick to get them, to tell them, right? You and I spent some days together, right? As did many of us. And that's kind of what this is about. And let me talk a little bit about, supporting us. Well, I'd like to appreciate our donors: Williams, Jackman, Calderon, Hackey, Fernandez, Evans, Cobos, Wino, Ridgeway, Barrow. Those are master rated donors. They've given to us in a special way or donated at least $500. Our senior donors, Newton, Diaz, Shrum, Kirkendall, Allen, these guys give to us on a monthly basis or help us, in a long-term way. And we really appreciate our donors. And we use PayPal. You can click the button and donate to us. And the idea is to tell your story, right? Everybody's a hero, but nobody wants to be interviewed. Nobody wants to tell their story. So if you'd like to sponsor a hero, please do that. Reach out to us right here. You can see right now we got Chief Harris, and then you can see next week's schedule. And then there's our live stream right there. You could click on it and watch the live stream from our website. There's our sign up sheet. And hey, look, there's my mom, right? No, imagine me being able to interview my mother as my hero. And then there's a couple of tribute slideshows, and Command Sergeant Major Retired Heather Smith, our most loved episode yet. she was probably your first sergeant too. And
she was,
yeah. So that's what, look, you're right in the roots of where all this started. And if you're here and you're watching, say hi. Yeah, look at there. We got lots of stuff. Gregory MG says, true legend. Thanks, Gregory. And he says he's getting out the popcorn for this one, right? Yeah. Joe Benson says, what's up, sir? And he's my partner in this. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So, look, let's do a little bit of something else right here. Let's share the screen right here. And, there's our donors again, and I really want to appreciate Colonel Burrow. Thank you, sir, so much. Our newest master rated donor. Thank you. Colonel Gannon, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind donation. She was our guest last night, and it's just wonderful to spend time with her tonight. We're going to be hanging out with Chief Tracy Harris. Have you seen the slideshow that I've done for you yet?
I did. I watched it a little bit ago.
Oh, great!
Tequila,
great.
No, it's not tequila. That's good bourbon whiskey right there.
Oh, there we go. We got some good bourbon whiskey. So let's let me grab that slideshow that I did for you, and let's watch it real quick as we get started.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Just called to say hello. Such a wonderful night for a walk in the park by moonlight. And I just want to say,
you have a sunburn in every picture.
Right. Don't you think that the time is right?
That's from being out in the daggone sun.
Tonight, I know the time is right. Tonight.
That picture, that one too, was the last rotation I did in 2015.
We can take it very slow. We'll be counting the stars that dot the dark of a night sky. Sipping red wine on the show. The time is right, don't you feel the time is right? Tonight, 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 tonight.
Oh, look at there, Chief. You got a fan. Look at that. Watch out. Look at that hair now.
Oh, yeah.
I just called to say hello. Such a wonderful night for a walk in the park by moonlight. And I just wanna say, you know, the time is
Look at that wonderful family and wonderful, career you've had. It's just really cool, sir. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. All right.
Well, I appreciate the invite. It is kind of hard, when to try to talk about the things that you've done in places and all this other stuff. And so, I think this is great. And plus, like we said before, I mean, shoot, it's 15 years since the last time that I can remember seeing you. Not saying that I didn't, but I just don't remember.
Oh, I get it. I agree. It seems like forever ago, forever ago since I was able to see you. Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of weird to think how the units that we're in, and you're there for like short periods of time, And look, Jeremy says, "Enjoy. Got to go get dinner." So yeah, Jeremy, thanks.
Yeah, I work side by side with him every day.
Oh, really? That's great. We spend just such short times at times with folks in units, and then move on to the next. And you build really strong bonds while you're there together, but all of a sudden, might not see each other for a long time. You might not have any reason, especially before Facebook and before all this stuff, to even, keep up with each other. Where are you from?
So I'm from a little bitty town in Tennessee, a little town called Charlotte, which is west of Nashville. It'll take you about 40 minutes to get there. It's back up in the hills, up on the Cumberland River. If you've ever been assigned to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, that is also about 40 minutes from where I grew up. Before I was switched over to become an air defender, I was stationed at Fort Campbell for almost 3 years, and I loved it. It was great, the first 6 months, and then after that, it seemed like the road only went from my house to the relatives, and it didn't come the other way. So I put the kibosh on that.
I got it. Yeah, I hear you. It's a long way east. Where are you living at now?
So I live in Burnett, Texas, which is, I'm about 45-ish minutes from Fort Sill, just south of the Red River, because I did not want to live in Oklahoma after I retired.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
Yeah,
so you live on the other side of the river.
Yep. We bought 5 acres out here. We're on the south end of town, and we're just inside city limits enough so they'll tax us. But we live out on 5 acres, enjoy the peace and quiet. Anyway, I'm not going to live alone. So it takes me, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes to drive from here back up to Fort Sill every day. And we enjoy living out here. So it's great.
Amen.
I will say if the internet starts to get spotty, I'm on an RF antenna back up to town. There's no cable ran out here, so I'm on an RF link. But it should be good. It's been fine. So the wind's not blowing.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. Hey, Joe, if you're listening to this, please add our link to the from last night to our donation page. I hold on, never mind. Here, I found it. There you go. If you're watching this and you'd like to contribute to the episode, then there's your link right there on Streamlabs. So just go on there and you can give a tip. We appreciate it. These episodes are sponsored by Joe and I. This is a love project, but if you'd like to help, we think a minimum one of these episodes is $500. I think our memories are worth way more than that. But if you'd like to help support, then please click on the link and to help us out. It keeps us going, and we appreciate it. I'm taking a master class, sir, that like supposedly teaches you how to like do this, like how people do this, and actually, use what we're doing to generate some type of a content that makes sense. I showed you the box and the coin that Joe has come up with, and the idea is that this interview goes on this titanium thumb drive that even if the Russians come, that it won't get destroyed, and your slideshow and your your interview and your memories go on here, because hopefully over the time, you'll tell some stories that your kids and grandkids will want to, maybe want to hear, and the coin they might want to fight over, one of these days. And it all started because, I wouldn't want somebody to have to do another memorial service. I did 3 memorial services when I was a first sergeant, and that's tough stuff, right? It's tough stuff.
Yeah, it's terrible, and it's a shame. I get it. It's a dangerous business, what we do. That's why. You try to do things as safely and as responsibly as you can, but things are going to happen.
Yeah,
and we just have to deal with that as it comes. But yeah, been to too many memorials, and it's just shameful.
Yeah. So tell me what it was about you growing up that I wouldn't expect, right? Were you the athlete? Were you the studious one? Were you the Latin lover?
Yeah. Well. I don't. Yeah. I did kind of try in school up until I was probably a junior in high school. And then after that, I got a job and started working, and I was working as much as I could. And going into my senior year, I didn't really need a whole lot of credits to graduate, just the minimum stuff. And here I am 30 plus years later. I'm still kicking myself for not having tried to have done better that last year of school. Yeah, I don't know. My dad was a carpenter. My mom worked for the Tennessee Department of Corrections. She was a prison guard, of all things. Up until she had to be medically retired in the early 90s. But what else? Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty, well, I might have had to go to juvie court for maybe taking a truck out on a joyride. And I might have gotten into an accident that was not my fault, which cascaded into some other things. I won't go down that road, but being a teenager, you do dumb things thinking you can get away with it. And no, that's not the case. You can't. It's always going to come back. No matter how sneaky you try to be, it's going to come back on you. So,
I got to ask the follow-up question. I got to ask, so what did you think you were going to get away with? What part of that did you think you were going to get away with?
don't know why. I have no idea why I thought that me making up some cockamamie story to tell my mom at the time what had happened to the truck. Well, unbeknownst to me, my grandmother just happened to be in town that day and saw me driving. Back then, it was an 85 or 86 Bronco 2, right? So little 4-seater, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess I passed my grandmother on the way to take a girlfriend home. She lived in the next little town over about 7-8 miles away. And so, yeah, I thought I was good. But again, yeah, just it pays just if you made a mistake just to go ahead and own up to it, tell the truth.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Were there consequences and repercussions?
Yeah, some pretty, yeah. So uh, I got kicked out of my mom's house. I had to go live with my dad, and he lived in South Nashville,
Whoa,
Alabama.
this was huge.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh,
So I
no.
lived, yeah, so I lived with my dad. I don't know, 3-4 months or whatever, and then come time for the hearing at juvie court. My mom says, "Well, I will go in here and drop the charges if you'll come back home." I was like, I okay, sure, why not? It'd be better than probably be put on probation, and I got to do some type of community service and all this other stuff. But so yeah, that was the end of that. And I feel bad. I don't think I ever because my parents are gone, so I don't think I ever really apologized to my dad for being a clown, for lack of a better term. As a real go to your teenager, you don't for the most part you don't know anything, but you think you know everything. So yeah, it was a good life lesson, I guess.
Amen. How did you end up like joining the army?
So going back to, I really didn't do that much my senior year, slacked off. Um, I was sitting in, I think it was modern government was the class. Anyway, a good friend of mine, we were talking. He said, "Yeah, I've been down and talked to the recruiter. If you want to come down and talk to him, let's do it after school." So I'm like, well, hell, I ain't got nothing else going for me. I might as well go see what he's got to say. And so I went down there. I watched the big laser disc movie of all the fun stuff that you do and all this other. And hey, how's it going? And I'm like, yep, this is for me. I'm gonna do it. Problem was 17, so you got to have parental permission. Because my plan, hey, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go do 4 years, and I'm gonna get out, and then I'm gonna take my GI Bill, and I'm gonna go to school. That was my plan going in. 27 years later, I finally hang it up. So I went and talked to a recruiter. I watched the video of the laser disc, finest technology that 1989 had this would have been January of 90. Would have been January of 90. So I went and told my mom, and mom's like, no, I don't want you to join. And then so that it took a little convincing, I was like, look, I'm not getting no scholarship. There's no way I'm getting a scholarship to go to school. My grades suck this year. I'm not really ready to, I'm not mature enough to go to college, blah, blah, blah. So I'll go to the Army. So, reluctantly she signed the paperwork, and I went to MEPS at the end of January of 1990 and got put on the depth, and I, with a report date of 9 August, 1990, which, if everybody remembers their history a little bit, a week prior to that, Saddam Hussein decides to invade Kuwait. So, of course, when I get the basic training at Fort Knox in Kentucky, that's all we hear. You're going to Iraq. You're going to Iraq. That's all I heard. So my main reason was, just to get money to go to college. But, life's funny in how it works. And so it was probably a good thing that I did, because, let's see, I left in August, and then my oldest daughter was born in November. So if you can do the math on that, then you know what else I was up to at the end of January, February of 1990.
Oh, that's amazing, right? It's awesome how, you start a new career, you start a family, you switch gears, and you begin a life of beginning where you're at now, right? You turned a new leaf in a way, right?
Right. And so again, life's funny about how things work. And when at the end of the first 4 years, as I entered my reenlistment window, I'm calling. My uncle works for the same company my grandfather worked for. It's a barge company. And I was calling him. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about getting out. I need a job. Well, you're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to come and fill out the application. You have to be interviewed, and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I ain't got time for that. I don't. I might as well. Okay, so then I go see the reenlistment guy. Hey, what you got? Fort Campbell, Kentucky. All right, sign me up. How long I got to do? 3 years. Okay, let's do it. So, I was able to get the then wife and my oldest kid close to both sides of our family. And we lived there for almost 3 years before I left to come to Fort Bliss. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what was your MOS originally?
So I came in the Army as a 75 Bravo. So it's a 42 something today. 42. I was a personnel specialist. I worked in the S1. So, by the time I got ready to switch, I'd been I'd been a clerk for an EOD unit in Atlanta. I was there about 2 years, and I left. I went on a short tour down to Honduras. I was in an aviation unit down there for a year. Then I come back, and I get sent out here, Fort Sill, and so that was in March of '94. And as I'm leaving Honduras, I'm calling branch and going, hey, I really want to go to Fort Campbell. Well, no, they full. You can't go there. You got to go to Fort Sill. I'm like, there's nowhere else I could go. No, you got to go to Fort Sill. I'm like, man, these clowns. So then So then I get to Fort Sill in January. I'm trying to think. I think back then the reenlistment window was like what 6 months, I think, from your ETS date 6 months back. So I go to the re-up to the re-up guy. I go, that whole thing I just said, and he comes back and he's like, yeah, Fort Campbell came up like 3 times. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! I just tried to go there. So, I had to spend like 14 months out here, and then I went to Campbell, and I started out at 2nd of the 17th Cav, out at Sabre Heliport, and then I went over to 3101, which is Apache Attack Battalion. I had a good time there. It was a lot. We got to do a lot of stuff and things.
Well, you just listed like 17 duty assignments. Like now you're Sergeant First Class Harris, right? I mean, golly.
Oh, no. So I don't know if you remember back in the day, it was extremely hard as a admin guy to get promoted. And I don't, of course, I don't keep up with it today, so I couldn't tell you what the promotion rate was. So here we are again. Now the end of this 3-year enlistment's coming to an end. I'm like, I got to find something else to do. This is killing me. So 14 Echo was on, at the time, the BEAR program, right? The bonus extension and reenlistment program. I think they still have that now, right?
Probably. Some form of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and some of these bonuses, man, now would be a good time, but no, thank you. I forgot. Oh yeah, so 14 Echo was on the BEAR program, so I put the packet together and submitted that. I was at JRTC in January of '97 when I got word that, all right, yep, your packet's been accepted. You'll get orders when you get back to Campbell, blah blah blah. Okay, so that was in January, and I left. My school date was in November of '97. So I got out to Fort Bliss in November of '97. And man, so you go through. I go through November to June was the school, and then I get over to 343 as my first unit, Echo Battery 343. And we were going, out to the field, and we were doing some stuff. It's like, do y'all even know what you're doing? Because this don't make no damn sense to me, right? I mean, just it was so. You know what? ADA, another damn army, right? So to me, a lot of the things at the time we were doing, even now thinking back on it, it's like it didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. But it is what it is. And when in Rome, you got to do as the Romans, right? So it took me a year or two of culture shock to get into it. Yeah.
So, what rank were you when you made the switch?
I was an E5, and I thought, these promotion points for 14 Echo, they're in the toilet all the time. So you know what happens on July 1st of 1998? They go up to 798, and then they stay there for the next. Let's see, did I get promoted? I got promoted to E6 in June or June or July of 1999. I was hot for a hot minute. Yeah, because it was right before we went on our 6-month rotation to Saudi, back when that was a thing, So, and I was in, I was in Echo 343 from 98 until I left to go to WBC in May of 02.
Oh, wow. That's a long time to stay in the unit like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it's a love-hate result. It was a love-hate relationship. It was. I loved it, but I hated it too. Especially when we got back from Saudi, and then I forget what all was going on, and then Y2K. Oh, hey, I know you guys just got back, but make sure all the fuel cans are full. Make sure all the cans are full. Make sure the MKTs are set up in the motor pool, because we don't know what's going to happen, and we got to be ready. Well, the morning of January 1st, planes hadn't fallen out of the skies, and the Earth was still ticking along. So, good stuff.
Amen. Amen. Totally good stuff. Think back to when you were a youngster. Who were your mentors when you were a kid?
So, without a doubt, my grandfather, my mom's dad. So, he had an 8th grade education, probably one of the smartest guys I've ever known. I picked up a lot of habits from him. My love of reading and taking naps. My granddad liked to do that. He was the my grandfather was a steady male influence in my life and as a kid, and my uncle, my mom's half brother. Not to go into too much detail, but when I was a younger kid and mom and dad got divorced, and then we didn't see him for a couple of years. So, and that's unfortunate, right? But again, it's life. What can you do? Especially as a kid, you don't have control of that. So, but yeah, well, I can think of 3: my grandfather, and then 2 of my uncles. So they were always there, people I could talk to.
Do you remember having something you wanted to do when you grew up? Did you want to be a soldier or a fireman or a spaceman or a...
Well, some people would probably tell you that I am a space cadet, but I would say, and I think if my grandmother was on here, she probably would tell you too, that from a very young age, probably 3 or 4, soldier was what I wanted to be. And then as I got older, I changed my mind. Again, you're a kid. You don't know nothing because nobody tells you, because you don't know the questions asked. But yeah, so as I got older, maybe I'll go to college, get an accounting, get a degree in accounting, try to go to ROTC maybe, and then just do my time and get out. But again, life's funny. It is what it is. It got me to where I'm at today, and honestly, I don't. As Joe Walsh would say, life's been good to me so far. I can't complain too much.
Amen. Amen. Did you find being a 14 Echo a big difference from being an admin guy?
Yeah. I wasn't sitting in an office, 8 hours a day or whatever. But the paperwork part of it was okay, because you still, you still have troops that you got to take care of, and so sometimes it was easier for me. I was like, what's your problem? What's wrong? Why this, that, and the other? Okay, this is what you need to do. Go get this. Go tell top you this is what you need. Fill it out. Bring it to me. Let me read it. Yep. Okay. Now go get the pack slip and run up to battalion and drop it off to S1 and see what they tell you. So it had its advantages, but yeah, it was, man, Joe's had some problems, and they won't, it's the quick, I want it now mentality. Like, look, man, this is not how this works. You're going to give me this piece of paper. Now I'm going to write it down on another piece of paper, and then I'm going to take it up here and drop it off, and this person will sign for it. Now, what they do with it after that, I don't know. It'll be done when it's done. Quit calling me. So getting away from phones ringing all the time. Yeah, oh man, I love that. It was great. It was great.
So did you enjoy fighting air battles and doing those kinds of things in the van?
Luckily for me, I didn't have to. I wasn't a. So from the time from '98 until I went to FDC in 06, I just did maintenance. That's all I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when so it's taught in AIT, and here's a little secret for you guys if you haven't heard this before. But when I went to WOBC in 2002, it was a lift and repeat of the AIT that I went through in 97, 98. It was exactly the same thing. I'm like, why am I here? This is dumb. Right. But again, it's an Army school. You do what you do, and you get through it, right? Right. So we're at when you're in. Well, I don't know how they do it today, but in 2002, when I was in walk school with the other classmates, our instructor, Omega Perkins, who's a retired CW4R, he works out at the dust facility, or he did, out at Fort Bliss. I see him every now and again if I'm down that way. He showed up because the night before graduation, you have a dinner. And it's mostly a meet and greet because the WOBC mentors show up, blah, blah. So all of us are standing around, and he's talking to us. He says, oh, by the way, your class will be the first class that gets taught tactics. And we all looked at each other and said, what the hell you mean tactics? That's not what we signed up for, right? Because we only wanted to do the maintainer part of it. So that was the first six weeks of school. So you get through all that, 9 months or whatever. I go to Korea, I'm doing maintenance. I come back from Korea, I'm doing maintenance. Then I do the BRC bit in HHB 552. And then one day, and it is not long after you guys had left. Yeah, this was like September-ish, September, October, something like that. So Major Darnay, who was the S3 at the time, now Colonel retired Darnay, says, "Hey, I was out at the FDC area 552. I don't even remember why I was out there, but he sees me and said, 'I hear you're gonna be my new TD.'" And so, like, the hell are you talking about, sir? First I heard of it. So I was a little angry until I got to FDC and saw how those cats roll, which meant you just sitting around, ain't nothing going on. You can slip out. Ain't nobody going to say nothing. We'll see you tomorrow. So I enjoyed that for about 30 days, about 30 days, whatever. And then it was time to, okay, we got to get serious and get in the van, start getting ready to certify and all that other. And not too long after that, this was 06. Not too long after that, I think it was January of 07. That's when they were standing up that's when they were standing up the ICC up in Kuwait. Once everybody went back to Qatar in late 06. So I'm like, well, hell, I've never been over there. I missed the war because I was in Korea. Me and I talked to my two guys. I'm like, hey, if we can go, do you want to go? And they both said, yeah. And so I went and talked to at the time Major Darnay, threw our names in the hat. And next thing I know, February of 07, me, my TDA, and my combo guy we're on a C5 bound for Al Udeid Qatar.
Oh, wow.
We weren't sure. Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to, if they were going to put us in Kuwait or if they were going to leave us down in Qatar. So we only did a few months. We were there from like February to June, because by that time, 343 had been told that they were going to stay for a full year. So I talked to my guys again. I'm like, hey, if we can work it where we can stay here, then y'all want to stay here? They both said, yeah. So I told the FDC captain, now Lieutenant Colonel Cotner, it's like, hey, sir, we talked it over, and if y'all have us, we'll stay. And then my battalion commander, or this is what I get anyway, my battalion commander, Colonel retired Bodine, said, no, you're coming back. So, we got on a rotator in I don't know, mid-June of 07, and we rode the bus home. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good old Craig Cotner. Yeah. Sir, Craig Cotner, if you're out there, I want you on the show. I want to interview you. He was one of my OBC lieutenants. What a great guy he is. And, of course, Colonel Bodine's been on already. It's great to talk to him and catch up with him. I'm here tonight with Chief Warrant Officer Tracy Harris. What you shaking your head about, sir?
Oh, nothing.
Colonel Bodine. He's a character, isn't he?
Oh, he's something else. Yeah, he's something else.
It ain't no. You better not come half stepping around him. He's gonna have the best of everything.
That is. Yeah, very true statement. Very true statement. Very true.
Yeah. So tell me about you becoming a sergeant and having to answer for other soldiers. Was that something that you dealt with okay?
Yeah, and other people will probably tell you that, no, I thought I did. I mean, so again, life's kind of funny. Life's kind of funny. My first unit, like I said, was the EOD. It was the ordnance detachment. It was the EOD unit, bomb disposal. There were 13 people in this unit, including myself.
Wow, and you were the admin guy.
Right. And two of the, so that me, we had a supply sergeant and a mechanic. So there's 3 support dudes and 10 EOD techs. Without a doubt, one of my most favorite units I have been in. However, the however is, it would have been you. So when so I might have picked up a little bit of bad habits, being an E1, E2, and of course I'm the low man on the totem pole, and I didn't get. I mean, they, I know I'm not an equal, but there were a lot of things that, like in a normal, like CQ and stuff like that, we were fun. No, we didn't do anything. I might get called in to drive somebody to the airport on the weekend, or pick somebody up, or hey, there's been an incident, a couple of counties away. We need you to drive the duty van. What am I going to say? No. So I'm there about 2 years, and I'm getting ready to PCS down to Honduras. I was at E4, and being the only, I was the lowest enlisted guy there. Anytime that a promotion waiver or whatever came up, I got it. It's not because I was doing anything spectacular. It's just they had one. Why waste it? Give it to me. So I left there, and this was such a. So I go to the board thinking that I'm ready to go. Turns out I'm not ready to go, and so I go home on I go home on PCS leave, and I'd been home, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and the phone rings, and my then mother-in-law hands me the phone. It's for you. I asked, and it's one of my NCOs from the unit. They said, hey, can you come back down here? I'm like, dude, I'm 4 hours away. No. Why do I got to come back down here? Well, you see, what happened was we had the board, and the board did not meet the requirements as put forth in the promotion regulation. Because if you had a female or a minority appear in front of the board, you must have a female and a minority board member. Didn't have none of that. So the board was thrown out. So I had to go back. I'm like, cheese and crackers, man, you're killing me. So we were staying with my then mother-in-law, and she said, well, Ashley was she was about to turn 2. So my mother-in-law said, well, y'all just go and take care of it, and we'll watch Ashley. So so me and the now ex-wife loaded up in the car, and we drove, the 4 hours back to Atlanta, stayed with some friends of ours. I went back to the board. Somehow, miraculously, I passed this board, and we'll see, that was in November-ish. February 1st. Yeah, February 1st of 1992. No. February 1st of 1993, I'm pinning buck sergeant, E5. Hell, I wasn't even 21 years old yet. So it was a long road between getting pinned E5 and then pinning E6. But I got to deal with a whole bunch of different personalities. I'll put it like that.
I bet.
I don't. I mean, I don't know if the. I'm not going to say I got it right every time. I didn't. And everybody makes mistakes. And if you think that you're walking on water, then that's your first mistake. So I guess get to know your troops, take care of them, listen to them, and if they're having some rough times, get them to the help they need. That's the most important thing that you can do as a leader, and care for them. I mean, you can't. You might want to hit them with a stick. I got it. Trust me, I was there, and I think we've all been there at one point or another. But the first thing is taking care of your troops. No matter what you rank. No, it doesn't matter if E5, E6, W1 or W4. Take care of your troops. Because you can't get them back. Once they're gone, you can't get them back.
So, do you remember a time where you wanted to take the radar or the ECS or something and just blow it in place and just start building a new one?
Yeah, more than once. More than once. This was So in 2005, we were testing. Were we testing PDB-6? I think that's what we were testing. So we got to go up to White Sands, and Raytheon paid for us to stay up there in the hotel for 30 days while they were doing PDB-6 testing. We were out at Dog Site, and I don't know if some of y'all, PB6. So some of y'all know where Dog Site is on LC or out on Wisdom. And we had a transmitter fault. We couldn't figure it out. We could not figure it out. And it was so bad that we had to pack up our radar and take it out to AMI out at out on the way up to Tobin Wells. And it turns out that in a circuit card basket on the inside aisle of the radar, there was one wire that was not secured properly. And so it would vibrate as the system would run. And so sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. But we had done everything that we could do at that time to try and get it fixed. So that was one. The next one was, remember when we all went out to Yuma in 2007? That was not a fun trip. Oh well, I'll tell you even better. Was the first time that I went with 552 to Yuma, and that was in 2004. The guys driving my radar in Bravo 552 got that radar so hung that they broke it without even putting power to it.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding. So, if you've ever been out there, some spots on Yuma, the sand's got a nice little crust on it. And if you were a light guy like I was back then, what's the word? A svelte 145 pounds.
Svelte.
When you walk across the sand, you don't sink down in it. Or if you do, it's not very far.
Right.
Well, 40 tons of pig iron got a different take on that. So they sunk that down to the axles, and then they rocked it, right? And so on the roadside, yeah, on the road side of the radar, where some of the your TWT tubes and your traveling waveguides are, well, they're made to have a little flex in them, not this kind of flexing. So they had rocked it back and forth so much that they had actually ripped holes in the waveguides,
Oh no.
in the flex part of the waveguides. So yeah, we were down for a couple of days waiting on parts to come in. So yeah, so there's been more than one time.
I was
Yeah, go ahead.
I was telling my dad today about the thing you were talking about at White Sands. You know, that was the absolute same. I remember that. It was like everybody was pulling their hair out about why in the world we could get this thing going. And yeah, wow. Tell me about. Go ahead.
No, I just said it. Yeah, it is amazing. I will say that our hope with the next sensor that's going to be coming out in the next few years won't be as tough to work on. There'll be less moving parts.
Well, are you involved in some of that development? What are you currently doing?
So I support the Integrated Fires Mission Command cyber division out of Redstone Arsenal, but I have a desk here at the what used to be called TICM AAMDCs, now ACM, the Army Capability Managers, Army Air and Missile Defense Command. So it's the same office that I retired out of. So when I was a green suitor, I was the warfighter representative, and I still do that today. But I can't tell people what to do, so I have to get talk to our green suitor about that. So
That's awesome. Yeah,
I have a great bunch of guys working there. Jeremy Chapman's one, Phil Puckett, Tony McCord, Chief Brandon Horton, and Bill Van Poel. So we have a pretty strong team. When I was there, I got there in 16, retired in March of 18. It was just me and Phil Adams for the longest time, and then Tony McCord came on right as I was getting ready to retire. So there's plenty of work, but yet mostly I work, and when somebody says cyber, most people think, well, what do you really do? Well, what I really do is I'm kind of like the go-between. I'm like the liaison between the IFMIC cyber team and the tactical units, because sometimes we have to go do things that require us to utilize a tactical unit. So I try to facilitate the scheduling of all that, even though it's getting more difficult to do that due to real world ongoing events.
Oh, I bet.
It's been like that for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're the guy that sends email bombs and stuff, huh?
If I was smart enough to know how all that works, when you write, because you got to, yeah. So I don't know if anyone has heard of this, but there is a Syracuse University. I'm not getting paid for this, but Syracuse University runs, I think it's called the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, IBMF. If you're within 6 months of retiring or ETSing, or you have already done either one, and you're interested in getting a Security Plus certification, or maybe you want to do your what is that thing? PMP. You want to do your PMP? Go check that out, because they will provide you with free training. And at the end of the free training, if you pass the test that whatever it may be, and you meet the prerequisites, they will pay for one certification test. So far, I've got my Security Plus certification, which is like the beginner's thing. I've got a certificate from Google IT. So just to be an IT weenie, right? Still, I mean, it's good information to know. And it would help you no matter what, right? So it would help you no matter what. And so tomorrow night at 5 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Central, I will take the hands-on portion for the Cisco Net Academy Cyber Ops Associate. Long word to become a or it would allow me. That's a better way to say it. It would allow me to work in a security operations center. I don't plan to do that. I only did this so that it will help me, because I don't lie. Sometimes some of the things we talk about, I'm like, a few years ago, not so much now, right? Not so much now. A few years ago, like I hear the English that you're saying, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So now I've got a better understanding, right? So, Fed, FED, go look that up and get you some free training. That doesn't cost you anything. Now, granted, you don't get that they may not hand out any certificates or anything like that, but it is some good free training out there that will help and assist you along your way.
Amen. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. Yeah, Joe said great information, and good luck, Chief, on your test tomorrow, right? Come on. I think you did great, right? Yeah. So,
yep, go ahead.
What do you think about your time as a Patriot maintainer? You spent so many years on a weapon system that you watched mature to the point where it is now. I mean, you took it from the mid 2000s to the place where PDB 6, what do they have now? PDB 14 or something.
So no, well, excuse me. Currently, the latest software release is 8.0, 8.0.5. There's going to be one more build that's probably going to be released in sometime next year, 8.1, and then we will, if everything goes to plan, we will transition over to AI AMD. My WBC class was the last class that got taught Config 2 Plus. I get to Korea, it is a PAC-3 unit. So I had to start all over again because the radar, it was the same box with the same antenna, right? But the guts were entirely different.
Right.
And honestly, if you were to go out there today and look at so we're at configuration 3 plus now with the radar. It has been a lot of the analog guts that used to be in the radar are now gone, and it's all controlled with just a few single board computers in just a couple of reps. And by doing so, we have there's been some gains from that. Yeah, I yes, it's been a few years since I turned a wrench on something, but I have to say that you get to do some pretty cool things as a tactician, but there are times when you're like, man, I'd rather be out cranking on beating the crap out of an actuator on a launcher or trying to figure out what's going on with the radar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun. My only complaint, I guess, there were a lot of test tools and things that we had in the BMC. We didn't get. I didn't receive any training on how to use that crap. I'm in Korea, and the supply sergeant calls and says, "Chief, can you come downstairs and sign for this new piece of equipment?" I'm like, "Well, what is it?" She's like, "I don't know." So I go downstairs, and it's a $30,000 Spectrum analyzer. Okay, that's cool. Man, brand new. I mean, it still had the plastic and little, the stuff you got to peel off and all that. Man, nobody in that unit know how to use that damn thing. I inventoried it because you always inventory equipment. Never sign for something sight unseen, right?
Right.
Inventoried it, boxed it up, took it out to the BMC, and set it on a shelf.
Right.
So I didn't know how to use it. That's kind of like my only complaint. Well, I have a lot of them, but it was just the first one that comes to mind.
Oh my gosh, we're hanging here. We're hanging here with the Chief Warrant Officer 4, retired Tracy Harris. He's finishing up his bourbon. What kind of bourbon you drinking, sir?
So tonight's selection was Bell Mead. I don't know the name. It's just Bell Mead whiskey. If you've been to Nashville and never went, or the next time you're in Nashville and you have time, take a ride out to Bell Mead Plantation.
Okay.
I did not know. I mean, this was a place I passed probably 1,000 times when I was a kid. Going after, didn't know anything about it. So go there, learn a little bit of history about the first thoroughbred horse, because that's what it started out to be. This was. I don't know. So I'm not going to screw up the history about it. But one of the very first thoroughbreds bred and raised in the United States, it's called Bonnie Scotland. You go look it up. That's where he was kept, and the thoroughbred line pretty much starts with him. So. So it's 22. Last Memorial Day weekend, we go home. I take my wife. My wife had been home before, but she never met my aunt and uncle and some cousins. So we take a trip up to Fancy Farm, Kentucky,
right,
where my uncle lives now. And so we spent 2 days with them, and then we went back and we stayed in Nashville. We stayed downtown, and one of the outings we did was we went to the Bell Mead Plantation. So we went over there, you can tour the house. We took a Segway tour, which again, if you've never done a Segway tour, you got to get on one, right? They are awesome. We have a lot of fun on those things. And then the last thing we did while we were there was a whiskey tasting, which I'm very fond of. And so luckily, Specs. I don't know if you have a Specs in your local area down there, but it's just a giant liquor store. It got everything. We have one here down in Wichita Falls, and they sell it here. So we like to drink old fashions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is one of our choices. I think it's one of my wife's favorites. So I'll drink Maker's Mark or Knob Creek. Bell Mead's very good too, though. Yeah. But yeah. If you're ever in Nashville and you got time to go to Bell Mead, again, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just saying it was a good time. We enjoyed it. You get to learn a little bit about the beginnings of horse racing in Middle Tennessee, anyway.
Yeah. So tell me about your family. Brag on your kids a little bit, and to give me an overview and tell me about all this.
Oh, so the oldest is Ashley. She is. I know I probably shouldn't tell the lady's age, but she'll be 32. She'll be 32 this November. She's given us 3 grandkids.
Wow.
London's the oldest. She will be 12 in October. And then Penelope, she will be 2 next month. And then little Xavier, he'll be 1 in August. A little bit of Irish twin thing going on, there. So she is a graduate of Arizona State University with her degree is in
Is that the Sun Devils? Yay.
Yes. Yeah. She did. She started out at UTEP, then went to the community college, and then finished up with Arizona State. So she's got a degree in I don't know what she wanted to be a dietitian, right? So that's that's nutrition or whatever. Yeah, nutrition. So I've been harping on, ever since she graduated from college a couple of years ago, I've been harping on her. Hey, find out what you need to do in the state, get your certificate, get your certification, try to get a job with the VA, because there's a big VA hospital in El Paso, and get a good job. What the hell I know. So right now, she's working on her teaching certification. She wants to be, I'm not going to say she wants to be a teacher, but she's trying to become a teacher because that's a pretty stable for the most part,
Right.
profession. The last couple of years, ever since the beginning of COVID, I don't know, people have lost their minds collectively. So, anyway, so Hannah, she's the youngest. She's 20, will be 21 here in 10 days. She's a graduate of Franklin High School there in El Paso. She did her first 2 years at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. Initially she wanted to be a forensic scientist. I'm like, okay, all right. So, things happen. End of school year, end of school year 21, she calls and says, Dad, can I come live with you? Sure. I can't tell you no. So she moved in with us. My wife went and got her and drove her home. And so that was May of last year. So she's finishing up her junior year at Midwestern State University on her way to become a registered nurse.
Yay.
Yeah. So really excited for her to get into the program and then get out of the program and then get off the payroll. I was cool. Uh,
Right.
and then be on her way uh, to doing great things. They're both great kids. Love them to death. Our only complaint is, we live up in Burke. It's 9 hour drive for us to drive out to El Paso, or for them to come up here. We just wish that we somehow could have found a happy medium, maybe,
Right.
and lived a little bit closer. But you know, it is, and I do travel out to White Sands. We'll be going out there at the end of May, so I will get to see uh, Ashley and the grandkids for a few days before. So they're all great, but yeah, I'm ready for
So Gregory says, get your pilot license and
be on their own and get off my payroll.
amen, amen, amen. We got a little bit of lag going on right now. Hoping we get caught up and get you back in here. This is a soldier. Yeah, I got you. I got you. You're
Sure, Greg.
kind of
Sure.
hanging in. Out of your whole career, what was your favorite unit?
Oh man, what was my favorite unit? You know, I had some pretty good times in HHB 552, but Bravo 552 wasn't bad either. It really wasn't. I enjoyed being in 552. I mean, we did do some, uh, not every body can say that, hey, yeah, we went back to UAE in '08 and stood up, firing batteries in a country that hadn't seen it in a few years. So it, yeah, as a whole, 552, I did enjoy it. My uh, last assignment in Fort Sill and FCOE was was great. Uh, but one of the reasons why I retired was, man, I was getting skull drug out here. I was on the road going somewhere every week, and so for some people, it's all, oh, that sounds great. No, man, no. First few trips, okay, yeah, this ain't too bad, but then when it's back to back to back, it's like I can't do this no more. I need a break.
Well, give us
I
we
see
got.
Mr. Munoz,
Yeah, right. You saw him on there a little bit, didn't
who
you?
was, I don't know if you remember, but he was the BMO at 552. I see he has
Yeah,
a question if he's still on there.
yeah. Give us a question, man.
Yeah, I think the reason we're getting this last home use the same services.
We're getting what now?
Oh, it audio might have caught up to the video. I ain't said nothing in a minute.
Oh, I think it's great. Yeah, it's amazing when you start to glitch out. It's just like you don't quite know when it's over or we're back in the real stream. So glad I'm back with the living. I think I was out of it for a little while. I'm waiting for Munoz to show us a question. You got us a question, man? Yeah, he's definitely a great maintenance guy for us back in those days, right?
Yep. Even though I haven't seen him in in a hot minute, other than from what he posts from time to time on Facebook. I know he's doing JROTC stuff out there.
He says, do you remember when I almost pulled you over? You were in shock to see me in a sheriff's office patrol vehicle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, wow.
I was driving down 375, and I look over. There's a cop car sitting beside me, and I'm like, what is this clown doing? Why is he just sitting here in the, keeping pace with me? Not like I was speeding, maybe.
Right.
Maybe I was, but I look over and it was him. It was Chief Munoz.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, sir, we're still having some breakup problems. Let's take an opportunity and let's call it a night, okay? I'm going to leave you with the final word. Why don't you give us a final word, and then we'll close it out.
Sergeant Major Richmond is on here. Where you say you in Arizona now? You ain't at Huachuca, are you?
Yeah, she is. She's at Huachuca.
I don't know if she's still on here.
She's definitely at Huachuca. Yeah, she's fixing to head back. I forget where she said she was going. Maybe Bliss.
Take care of yourself. Just do the best you can every day. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Top. It was great sitting and chatting with you for a while. And, we'll have to do it again.
Hey, I love it. Thank you, sir. So much fun. We're gonna leave us with Control right here by Lelena. And we've had a great time. It's been a blast. Yeah, and maybe we can schedule a second in the future. Hey, everybody!
All right,
If you would like to donate, then the link's there in the chat. Please donate. We appreciate it. Bye, everybody.